unadulterated. Full surrender is necessary. And if you do that, you will be scientifically meditating and you will be scientifically contacting the presence of God within. And so the key is this, that the rising again in us of the immortal consciousness of Christ depends upon so loving God. This is very important. So loving God that we will not deviate from doing the will of God even in crucifixion. Now that's what is demanded. If you are to receive God's love, it is to have the same fortitude that Jesus had. He had the power to overstep that crucifixion, but he didn't do that. Why? Because he loved God so much. He wouldn't bend his will. He wouldn't bend his will. He wouldn't allow his will to operate in place of God's great will. That's the fortitude Jesus had. That's the lesson. As he was able to stand crucifixion, so can we. But don't think he lost. He gained the greatest thing, the greatest spiritual treasure there is, conscious oneness with the presence of God eternally. That's what Jesus received. And so, remembering Jesus' fortitude should encourage us to bear whatever tests God sends us. Realizing that no matter how hard the tests are, and sometimes they're terrific, sometimes they seem unbearable, but never forget that what you will receive, the joy, the eternal joy that you will receive in place of those little tests, are worth everything that you can stand. That's why Master said, he said, emphasizing how wonderful God's great love is, he said, God loves us so wonderfully and silently, more than you can imagine. Then he says, but don't be discouraged when his tests come. Don't complain when God tests you. What you will receive cannot be said with words. The great joys of spirit, the eternal joys, the celestial visions, and the celestial presence of God will replace those little tests to such an extent you will never remember they existed. Such is the power of God's love. And so we should realize that the example this morning is that God's love should be so great within us. The surrender to him should be so complete that we do not mind, or no negative state or spirit of revenge can ever exist. And his love should so permeate our souls that no matter what people do to us, we can forgive them just as Jesus did and give them love and wish them joy. Can you do that? You can if you feel God's love enough. That's the lesson this morning, is in forgiveness. Forgiveness, even if people persecute you, forgive them. You won't lose by forgiving them. They'll get all that they deserve. God's law is just. He will take care of what they're doing. But you be careful of your action, and if you can forgive them. If the love of God is so great within you that you can forgive them, then you will feel his love to such an extent that words cannot express it. That's why Jesus said, eye hath not seen, ear hath not said, the things which God hath prepared for those who love him. Peace that passeth all understanding. That comes only when God's love is supreme within you. And so forgiveness is the great thing. Forgiveness is so wonderful, that's why Jesus emphasized it. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And in the autobiography we read these words from the Mahabharata, the Indian epic, about forgiveness. I cannot help but give them to you this morning. When it says one should forgive under any injury. Someone does something real mean to you, it's hard, isn't it? You must forgive. You won't lose. One must forgive under any injury. It hath been said that the continuation of the species is due to man's being forgiven. Forgiveness is holiness. By forgiveness, the universe is held together. Forgiveness is the might of the mighty. Forgiveness is sacrifice. Forgiveness is the quiet of the mind. Unless you can forgive your enemies, you will not have even peace of mind. You will not have cosmic peace. Forgiveness is very important. And then it says forgiveness and gentleness are the qualities of the self-possessed. They represent eternal virtue. And so forgiveness must come. But if you can forgive them and give them love, you are recompensed a million times, for God's love flows easily. It is that lack of forgiveness that prevents the slowing down of His great spiritual rays. Your heart cannot respond, cannot hold His love until all the dross is removed. And some of the dross is lack of forgiveness to others. The heart, Master used to say, must be pure gold. Then God's great love will come.